Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. The shock from what happened in Charlottesville over the weekend is still ringing in the air like a gunshot. People on every side recognize it was awful, because it was awful, absolutely and completely. The only thing that could make what happened in Charlottesville worse would be if we allowed a small number of people in power to make America less tolerant and less free in its aftermath. Let's be honest, we've seen that before. It happened after 9/11. Almost nobody wanted to say so at the time for fear of seeming sympathetic to terrorists, but it did. Secret lists, massive government spying on citizens, the feds rooting around in people's bank accounts for no good reason. We allowed all of that to happen because we were upset and afraid. Well, this morning there were signs it could be happening again. The Wall Street Journal reported that big tech companies are using their power to silence certain political views. Both Google and web hosting service GoDaddy stopped providing hosting support for Daily Stormer. It's a white supremacist website. Meanwhile, the hotel website Airbnb announced it will permanently ban white supremacists from using its service to book rooms. PayPal says it won't let white supremacist groups use its payment platform. Now, nobody on the show is weeping for the Daily Stormer. Even mentioning their name probably just got us written up by the Southern Poverty Law Center as dangerous alt-right subversives or something. We don't care. There's a principle at stake here, and it's worth defending regardless. We should be very concerned by the prospect of big companies using their power to enforce ideological conformity, even when it seems only to affect people we don't like, as it does right now. Especially now we should be concerned because support for free expression appears to be fading on the left, and especially among young people. The 2015 Pew poll found that 40% of millennials already believe in restricting speech they believe is offensive. Those are the people who are going to be running this world very soon. You think they'll think twice before banning websites they don't like? They won't. It's the Daily Stormer today, fine, but who's it going to be next week or next year? The National Right to Life? FoxNews.com? Catholic Charities? Why wouldn't it be? And why wouldn't Airbnb ban public supporters of Trump from getting rooms? They support terrorism. Why wouldn't Facebook eliminate all references to, I don't know, pro-life positions? Today's political opponents could very easily become tomorrow's designated Nazis or terrorists. Definitions change. Principles do not change. And that's why it's crucial to keep fighting for them, to keep fighting for an open society, even if people call you names when you do it. Now, the First Amendment is America's most famous freedom, the strongest sign that our country is dedicated to the personal liberty of every person here. The fact that this right applies to the most hated members of society isn't a weakness. It's the whole point. It's proof of how robust that right is. Now, tech companies aren't the government, and they're not bound by the same rules as a consequence of that. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't push back and do it loudly. The biggest tech firms are more powerful than any monopolies in the Gilded Age, and they're far less restrained and far less trustworthy. In some ways, they're more dangerous even than overreaching government because they're less accountable. They could make this country a place you would not want to live, and they could probably do it quickly, and they probably will do it unless they're brought to heel.